It's loading.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good evening to all. As we already know, it's about a public speaking sharing session from the side of Instant School Public Speaking Club. I, Tashpin from Mirjapur Cadet College, am a part of Instant School Public Speaking Club. Today we are here for listening to some speeches, and after we are done with those listening to speeches, we are going to go for a session to make you understand how we can learn from those speeches, what things they can improve, and what things we need to enrich in our speeches. And to conduct this whole session, I would take the help from Tahmid Minhaj. He is there with us, being the moderator of the whole session. Tahmid Minhaj, sir, would you like to share a few words for it?
Thank you so much, Tasfin. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are in the public speaking hearing session 1, and we have a few speakers with us who would like to practice and improve their public speaking by speaking in front of all of us. We hope to have a very productive session. We will be providing criticism of each speakers, and we believe that this session would help also the speakers and all those listening to improve their public speaking. Hope to find you all today with us. Thank you.
Thank you for your great words. So, dear audience, without any further delay, I would like to specify the whole structuring of this session. First of all, we'll go with one speaker from any of the speakers we're going to choose. And after he is done with his speech, we are going to give a review on it. And from that, you will understand how to structure a speech, how to improve your style, and how to engage with your audience. So, without any further ado, I would call upon the first speaker of today's station, Mr. Abid Aziz Neil. Sir, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So, sir,
So,
if you are ready, you might start your speech. Thank you.
sorry.
Sir, if you're ready, you might start your speech by saying your title of the speech.
Okay, so I am Abidaziz Neil. I completed my HSC from Adamji Cantonment College, and now I am preparing for my admission. So today's topic in our live session is COVID-19, and first of all, I would like to say that we all know that COVID-19 has been identified for almost over a year now, and by this time we all know that this disease can be prevented by following some easy steps like washing our hands, wearing face coverings, physical and social distancing. But another way of preventing this disease is the intake of nutritive foods and following certain herbal procedures. So if we follow this, then it will be very easy for us to prevent the disease. So the vaccine of coronavirus are operational in many countries, including Bangladesh. And for this vaccine to be operational, hundreds and thousands of trials have been undertaken by various research organizations. And at last, they produced a usable vaccine for us. And last but not the least, I would like to say that many of us doesn't know what COVID-19 actually stands for. The co in COVID actually stands for coronavirus. The Y stands for virus, and D stands for diseases. And 19 indicates the time of its identification, that is 31st December 2019. Hence the name COVID-19. So that's all, and thank you so much all for listening. And I am truly honored to be here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your insightful speech, sir. Sir Tahmid Minhaj, sir, would you like to share a few reviews on that speech on how he can improve and how we can improve?
Thank you so much. Abidaziz Neil, first of all, I'd like to thank you so much for taking the courage and to start speaking. Because to be a good public speaker, first you have to take that first step. And thank you so much for being with us here. I like your speech, but there are something that you should improve. First of all, you use fillers a bit too much. Like fillers means words like such type of things. We all use them, but when you are speaking in public, people are listening to you. So it would be better not to use them. So try to become a bit more fluent. try practicing English by speaking with your friends and family members, and do not use and other fillers. Secondly, when a topic is too large, like a topic like COVID-19, you have to pick a certain part of this topic. Like your time is very limited. It's only 150 seconds. So what you have to do is you have to pick one point of COVID-19. For example, COVID-19. So how to stay safe from COVID-19? Or could say the damages caused by COVID-19. Or you could say the vaccination process of COVID-19. But what you cannot do is you cannot speak on the whole topic. And
I see.
and this would become better, a lot better. I can guarantee that. So keep practicing and all the best. Thank you so much. Back to you, Taskin.
Yeah. Thank you, Tahmin sir, for your insightful review. Just starting where you left it, about he was talking to you about the thing that you need to pick a topic where you are going to be specific about on the title itself. Suppose you have the topic, so COVID-19. So you have to pick a message, a single idea that you are going to share with your audience within this span of 150 seconds. So that's the first thing of a speech. If you're going to give a speech, you need a specific message with which you're going to tell your audience. And about the other factors, yeah, your confidence is much more important thing that would make you connect with your audience. Well, overall, you were speaking and you had the courage to speak. That's great. Of course, that's great. And your structuring of the speech was also good enough. Suppose you had points like what it stands for, how it, what it did to us, and what we should do for it, and what kind of solutions do we have. So when you have this kind of 3 or 5 points regarding the what it has done, why it has been doing, how and when, what to do, then a speech is self-fulfill itself. But what, how you can make it unique so that your audience are going to listen to it. Yesterday we had a mentoring session about the starting. If you didn't miss it, you could take a look at it again so that you can learn about introduction that can hook up the audience with you, that could make your whole speech unique. Well, the first thing about a speaker is your confidence, your fluency, and how you can connect with your audience. That's what makes a good speaker a great speaker. So, with this insight, I'd like to conclude your review, and I will talk about further the structuring of the speech after everyone is done speaking. And best of luck. I do believe that you can be a great speaker if you keep practicing. Practice makes a man perfect. So, the next speaker of ours is going to be Saurabh Sarkar. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah. When you start speaking, we will be starting your timing, so you can just go on just speak.
Thanks a lot for giving me the floor. Well, the coronavirus disease COVID-19 has spread through the entire world and emerged as a major public health threat. COVID-19 is a highly transmittable and pathogenic viral infection caused by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2. Novel pathogenic virus emerged in Wuhan, China, and has rapidly spread around the whole world, with 210 countries, including Bangladesh, reporting more than 3.5 million confirmed cases of COVID-19. Well, as the number of COVID-19 infections continue to rise in Bangladesh, an emergency public health response was seen from Bangladesh government as the severity of COVID-19 has the potential to result in devastating social, economic, and political crisis. They initiated a public campaign highlighting the necessity of practicing respiratory hygiene and hand hygiene and using appropriate personal protective equipment like PPE such as masks and gloves. On the other hand, due to the strict lockdown in 2020, environment pollution rate, especially air pollution cases, decreased a lot. Already, a number of vaccines have been developed by different countries throughout the whole world of coronavirus, that's COVID-19, and has mass vaccination have already been started in Bangladesh in the in the region. In the end, I wish a COVID-19 free world which will be safe and green at the same time. With this hope of a healthy world, I conclude my speech here. Thank you for your patience hearing.
So thank you, sir, for your great speech. It was well timed, though. We had 50 seconds left yet. Well, Tahmid Hina, sir, would you like to share a few words upon that speech and what we can improve?
Sure. Saurav Sarkar, first of all, thank you so much for being here. I would like to tell some good points about your speech before I go to the criticism part. First of all, you had one thing that even intermediate level of public speakers lack, and that thing is voice tonality. Well, to some person, this comes naturally. Like when we speak, when we have to emphasize on something, we have to give a pressure with our voice. Like sometimes you have to go fast, sometimes you have to go slow, or sometimes you have to emphasize on some words. I think that this particular thing of your style of speaking is quite good as a beginner, and you can improve it a lot. From your speech, what I understood that you have done your research. There were a lot of information in your speech, and that's great. Language was quite good as a starter, but what you can do is you can place the camera in such and your hand movements are properly visible. Now, going to some things that you should be improving. Number one, you should be giving pauses. You should not go so fast. Like you can decrease the speed of your speeches a bit, and you should pause at some points where you feel like that you are going to tell something really important. And secondly, you used a lot of information in your speech. There were a lot of logics, and that's great. But you have to connect with your audience, and to do that, you need to use emotions. Like think in such a way that you are in a situation where COVID-19 is prevalent. So how does it affect their life? Although this is a bit higher level thing, but I think that you can add it on your speeches. So next time when you are speaking, do try to add a bit of emotions or maybe some stories to your speech, and it will take your speech to the next level. And thank you so much for being with us today. Back to you, Dustin.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me the floor. About his speech, I would give my review in 3 points. First of all, the structure, then the style, then the gesture. So first of all, about the structure. His structure was pretty much good enough. He was analyzing it in a bigger sense. His analysis was really great. Your research was really great. But what I would suggest, think of a scenario. You're gonna gift a 3 years old boy or girl a birthday gift. So when you're gonna give a 3 years old boy or girl a birthday gift, that's a child actually. So you can't give him a book because he or she can't even read a book, right? So when you're gonna go for a date, you're not gonna give her doll, all right? Because um, a 16-year-old girl is not going to play with a doll anymore. If you're gonna give a gift to a teacher, you're not gonna give something that you would give to those junior people or even those a child or a teenager. Whether you have to give something that is applicable for their age. Try to get my point there. When you're gonna give something, you have to give something that is applicable for their age. So when you are speaking, your each and every single word is a gift, and you have to give the word that is applicable for your audience as it. So when you're analyzing a whole thing that even your audience is not going to understand, then you have to make sure you speak in such a way that your audience can understand what you are trying to say. So when you're going to structure a speech, if you're going to give a speech in a science society, you have to give a speech from a perspective where they can understand what is the family, what is the order, what is the anatomy of that whole thing of COVID-19. Suppose you're giving a speech to your audience in Facebook where most of them are teenagers, you have to give them a story that they can relate with how their life is being obstructed by COVID-19. And when you're gonna give a speech, I mean, what I'm trying to say, your word is a gift to your audience. So you have to give them a word that is applicable for them. So next time you're gonna make a speech, remember one thing. Yeah, your speech was pretty much good enough and your research was perfect. But what I would suggest, you have to bring up things with which they would be connected. Even if it's a great gift, it's not the best one. And about the style, yeah, already the Hamid Binaz has already told about it that you have to keep your camera in such a way so that your hand movements can be visible, your facial expression can be visible. When you're smiling, it's visible. When you're trying to show your agony, it's visible. That will visual the way you're speaking, and that will enhance your connection with your audience about and lastly about the gesture. So a gesture is something in online you can't just make it perfect. Your clarity, your diction, your sentence structure, be it an impromptu speech or be it a prepared speech. To make it perfect, what you can do, I would suggest, go in a position where your audience can see you at least the waist level and your hand movements are visible, your facial expressions are visible, so that your audience can really understand what you're meaning to them. As I've stated before, when you have all the things in your speech, in that mentoring session I mentioned about equal status and logos, when you have this balance, then your speech, even if it's a good one, it will turn into a great one. So I'll just go to the next speaker with this review. Um, uh, Jannatul Firdaus Sanjana ma'am, are you there?
Am I audible to you?
You are perfectly audible, ma'am.
Ma'am,
I
if you're
audible
ready,
to
you
you
might try
now?
to.
Okay, let me start. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Janatu Firdaus. I'm in BAA Shine College, Dhaka. Today my topic is about COVID-19, coronavirus disease 2019. COVID-19 is a contagious disease which this in this year very well. It was first detected in China in December 2019. Now it's an ongoing pandemic and we all are suffering. Because of COVID-19, we have been introduced to a lot of new terms like lockdown, home quarantine, etc. We weren't even aware of those words. We were not even aware of that we would be in the home. COVID-19 is creating a lot of problems. It has taken away many lives. Many are fighting with death. Many are already eventually many have yeah survived this situation. They are not they are not actually COVID-19 has many demerits also. They cause the most important cause that many income source of many persons have been stopped. They are jobless now. But the good news is that vaccine has arrived. I hope we all get happily. We all will be able to go through this pandemic. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Thank you very much for my speech.
Thank you, ma'am, for your great speech. You move on as a team. However, Samit Minaj sir, would you like to spend some more
Uh,
words on?
Sanjana, first of all, thank you so much for being with us here and taking the first step of improving your public speaking. I can see that you are nervous, but you are not the only one who's nervous. Even I am nervous, and I believe even Taswin is nervous. And even every other speaker today, either who have spoken or who will be speaking, are nervous. Is that how you cover up your beats, how you show yourself to be confident? And it's perfectly normal to be nervous on your first speech. And I would like to applaud you so much for taking the courage to speak up. I believe that you had a lot of things to say, but you couldn't say because of quite good. You had a lot of things to say, and that's quite great. Your one good thing is that you have that natural voice tonality that I also said about the earlier speaker, which I completely lack. Even to this date, it's quite tough for me to go I mean, the voice technology, I mean, sometimes you have to go fast, sometimes you have to go slow. That thing is quite hard, but when you naturally have that thing, other things become quite easy. And I think that you have this thing, and if you improve a bit, your speeches can be great. Talking about your body language, I actually could not see it because of the position of your camera, and that's perfectly understandable because it's quite tough to place the camera in such a position that everything is visible properly. No issues. Next time when you are speaking, do try to maintain that. And one thing is that you have to structure your speech in such a way that it can generate interest among people. Let me give you an example. When we are in our classes, for example, math class or physics class, the teacher is giving pure information. Like he is giving more information than most of us use while speaking, but we are not interested. A lot of us sleep in their classes, lot of us bunk our classes, but when the teacher is telling a story, maybe of his life, maybe something interesting, we all are hooked up on the teacher. It does not matter if we like the teacher or not. Stories have this power of engaging the audience. So I would give you one advice is start with the story or start with something that can catch the attention of the audience because we people will lose our attention too soon. Anyways, thank you so much for taking the first step. Try speaking in English with your friends, with your family members, and you will improve a lot. Thank you so much for taking the first step. So back to you, Tasvin.
Yeah, thank you, Tamid Minas, for such an inspiring review. I don't know how much inspiring it can be. By the way, I will try to be a little bit. So, yeah, about your speech, I got a vibe that you were trying to keep the balance of emotion, of research, and of logic in your speech. As I was talking about earlier, that a speech has three parts: ethos, about your ethics, about who you are, what it means to you, about logos, your reasoning, about your logistics or your research, it can be stated as well, and about pathos. Pathos means emotions, the emotions you were trying to draw in your audience, and that was the best part of your speech. I felt like, Jay, yeah, this speaker has balance. So, yeah, thanks a lot for taking the first step, and it's always going to be the remember, Jay. In our first step, when we're a child, all right, we took our first step, we fall down. We didn't learn walking overnight. So when we fall down, again we got up, again we tried again we got fall down. So this is the story of or the cycle of falling down that makes us how to learn how to walk. So keep trying a lot so that you can improve yourself and keep try to keep the balance of storytelling as well. Because as Tamit Minhaj was telling you that stories have the power of captivating. How? Because even our ancestors who were foragers living in the cave, they had this tendency of spending their nights or even evening sitting by the side of a bonfire and telling stories to each other. Even your grandparents used to tell you stories, right? So stories are something that captivate people from the very incept, from the very first day of ours. Story is something that flows in our veins as human beings. So I would suggest you, as you are keeping the balance, try to structure your speech in such a way that you have a story, you have a message, and you have a meaning to carry. So best of luck. I wish. I wish that you will fall down, but you will also learn how to get up.
Thank you so much for
So
your advice. It's nice.
I'd go for Nitu Janna, next speaker. Ma'am, are you there? All right, ma'am. If you're ready, you can start your speech. We'll be taking our time.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's start.
Nowadays, coronavirus is one of the most talked of the topics in the world. It has created a great anxiety in the world. Coronavirus, which is commonly called as COVID-19, is a infectious disease which causes illness in the respiratory system in the human. It is the new virus that is impacting the whole world badly as it is spreading primarily through contact with person. It is an RNA virus, so we know that RNA virus is changeable. So coronavirus can change its so coronavirus can change anytime. That's why we saw that at first it attract the people age of more than 70. Then it also attract the people of all ages, children and also the youth who have a great immunity system are affected with coronavirus. But it is coronavirus is strong that every type of people are affected through coronavirus. Coronavirus affects different people in different ways. Most infected people will develop mild to moderate and recover without hospitalization. COVID-19 was first identified during December 2019. It uh, in Wuhan city of China. In March, the World Health Organization declared the COVID-19 outbreak a pandemic. COVID-19 is now a cause of large number of deaths across the world. However, clinical trials and research is being carried on for the development of drug and vaccine. It is spread from person to person among those in close contact. World Health Organization declared that there would be 6 feet distance between the two persons. Wearing masks is a must. No one can allowed to go out from house without a mask. COVID-19's most common symptoms are fever, dry cough, tiredness. Not only this, but it have also some less common symptoms as aches and pains, sore throat, diarrhea, headache, loss of taste or smell, a rash on skin, and discoloration of fingers or teeth.
So time's up. Thanks a lot for your speech was the most lengthy speech of this whole session. I mean, you spoke the whole 150 seconds that no one did. However, thanks a lot. I would go for Tamin Minasai for some review on that.
Mr. Jannat, thank you so much for being with us here. Well, one thing is that I think that you were reading from a page or from somewhere, if I'm not wrong, or it might also be the internet issue that made me think so. Well, if it's the case, please try to refrain from reading from any page or looking at any paper for an extended amount of time because that actually looks very odd. As you are getting time before your speech, so do try to practice the speech for a few times so that you do not have to look at the page. Well, I understand that the amount of nervousness that you are having being your first time, and it's quite understandable. But what you can do is you can write some points on a page. So even if you have to remember some things, you can just look at the page, see the points, and then speak. And you have to work a bit on your fluency. So for that, what you can do is you can talk with others because this is the first step of being a good public speaker. If you are not fluent in the language that you are speaking, it will be really tough to actually be a public speaker. And we all were at this stage. We all started from there. The only thing that you need is practicing. Your speech was good. What you have to do is you have to practice a bit more, talk with others, try to have a conversation, and also keep an eye on the time, on the amount of time you are given for your speech. Thank you so much, and back to you again, Taskin.
Well, about the review, I would say, yeah. I also felt like you are
Okay,
reading
thanks.
from a
Assalamualaikum.
script. I would prefer that instead of reading from a script, what you can do, you can write the keywords in a page and go in front of the mirror with that keyword, with those list of keywords, and look at your eyes in the mirror. And while looking at yourself, you start giving the speech that you think you would give upon those key points. And if you miss out somewhere, like if you lost while giving a speech, you can look back on the keywords that what was my next point? Well, it was about the symptoms. All right, then I'm gonna start again from the symptoms. I'm gonna keep the flow, but I'm gonna give the speech in one flow, looking at the mirror, looking at myself. Why?
Okay.
The fact is that when you will be looking at the mirror, you will find out if you're faking yourself. Suppose you are talking about emotions, how people were being killed and they were slowly dying. Well, if you're gonna say that people are slowly dying, it's fake, right? And when people are dying, you can't be happy. You can be feeling anything. So when you are sad, you have to look at yourself to learn how you look when you are sad, so that you can use in your speech that you do look sad while giving your speech. When you are smiling, go in front of the mirror or take a selfie while you are smiling to understand how you smile normally, so that when you're giving a speech, it also seems natural that you are smiling. And now you're smiling. That's point one. Uh, However, what I would say to be natural, you have to ensure that things you're doing in your speech is the thing that you do with yourself, so that you can be fluent, you can be natural, and you can use the voice that you have, not for reading out, but for speaking out. And one thing I'd suggest, yeah, your speech was much more deep, much more elaborative, much more about subjective. What you can do, you can put a little bit of uniqueness, genuineness in that speech. How I'm gonna talk about it after Tahmid Minaj Bhai is done with the review of the whole session. Then I'll just give a review of the whole topic and how it can be unique, and thus we'll go for the end of this. And thank you, Ms. Season, for such an insightful and elaborate speech. Remember to be natural, and remember the knowledge you have is a knowledge meant to be shared. But to accept that knowledge, you have to make sure that your audience likes you enough, thinks that you're nature enough, and thinks that the message or the words you're speaking are real. Then they will accept things that you're doing. All right, thank you. Tamil Minasai, would you go for a review overall? It would be better if you unmute yourself.
Oh, my bad. Thank you so much, Tasfin. So we had a great session today, and we had a few courageous speakers who were today with us giving their first speeches in front of people. First of all, I would like to thank each and every speaker to take that courageous step, because today, standing at this position, when I look back to my first performance on public speaking, I still feel ashamed. It was a debate competition and I was speaking, and after just a few lines, I got frozen. And it was not online, it was in front of 300 people in our college auditorium. And this memory still haunts me. So I get amazed when I see first time speakers speak for more than 1 or 2 minutes. That's really great. That's something that I could not do. And I would like to congratulate all of you to be at least speaking, because not everyone has that courage to speak for such a time. So there are some common things that all of us can improve, be it a speaker who has just started speaking, or an intermediate level speaker, or even an advanced speaker. So the topic was COVID-19. COVID-19 is a huge topic. You could tell a lot of things, but you actually cannot tell a lot of things. As our time is really, really short, it's only 150 seconds. What you have to do is you have to pick one specific topic. It could have been anything with the slightest connection with the topic, as long as it is connectable. If I had to speak on this topic, I would have spoken about my experience with COVID 19. Last year on May, my whole family was affected with COVID 19, as Tasfin may know. And I actually saw how this virus works, how it is to see your own mother being the first one to be diagnosed with this virus. And this is really scary. So what I would do is I would tell a story that I was just having a normal day, and suddenly my mother was having some breathing issues, and I was really shocked. So I would try to instigate a level of interest among my audience, And I would also make them grow a bit of sympathy for me so that they want to go on and listen what I have to tell. I would, in my next few minutes or seconds, I would explain a bit about my journey, and in the end, I would try to give a good ending. May it be good or may it be bad. But as my starting is a bit sad, what I would do is, in the end, I would give a good ending. Also, in my story, my whole family gets well and everything goes fine. So at the end, I would give a good ending, and I would say that you guys do not want to be in the same situation for 2 weeks that I had, so stay safe. So my message is finally that COVID-19 is not actually something to make fun of. It's quite dangerous and serious, and the journey it goes like this. And in the end, I give a message. If I only say that wear mask, do this, people would not really listen. But when I tell my own journey with this virus and seeing my own family members, how they felt, people would be more open to take my advice. So we are done with the topic. And some other advices that I would like to give to everyone is please do keep your camera in a position where your hands, your face, your upper body is above the waist is visible. Because when you only show the face, it looks a bit odd and it creates a starting bad impression. Although we are all starting or just we are beginning with public speaking, but this thing really helps when you go a bit forward with public speaking. Next is do not only try to make your speech like a paragraph that we used to write. It's not actually a paragraph, but it's a mixture of conversation and of you can say an article. So it's a mixture. It's not entirely a conversation and it's neither entirely something written. So what we can do is we should not make it like the paragraph or the article that we read. And there are some other things that are a bit on the advanced level. So for now, advice for everyone is try practicing speaking English with others. Be a bit confident. Have that faith that yes, you can do it. And finally, take this as a fun. Don't be scared. We all are here. We all are learning, and we all believe that we all can become better speakers. Back to you, Tasfin, waiting to hear some remarkable comments and reviews from you.
One thing I would say about beginners. I still remember the day when I was in class 9, and that was the English debate competition of my college. So that where there I was the opposition speaker, not the proposition. That was my first time I was going to the stage. So I started with the intro by breaking the argument of a proposition. I remember my legs behind the podium or behind the dais was shaking like I don't know how, but they were shaking. After 30 minutes, when I was done with breaking the argument, I was still shaking. I felt like I'm gonna end. I won't be able to speak for 4 minutes like this. But then when I was done with the breaking of argument, maybe that was a good one. So all of the people started clapping. 300 of them. 300 pair of eyes looking at me. 300 pair of hands clapping for me. 300 of people inspiring me. That was my moment, I feel like. That was the moment I felt this is the moment of my life. This is the moment I felt connected with 300 of them. And for the next 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I didn't speak for my position. I spoke to show them I'm credible enough to speak for them even for 4 hours, not only for 4 minutes. So that was the moment when you learn how to get connected with the audience. When you feel that you can make them feel the way you feel, it's the best moment of your life. It's the success moment or the eureka moment of the public speaker. Maybe Tahmid I feel that as well. I feel that, and your moment is waiting right ahead of you. To feel that your audience is yours. The stage is yours. The mic is yours. So, about the topic, what I would suggest, uh, yeah, I would have started with the starting like, I love COVID-19. Quite integrally, right? I love COVID-19 because, first of all, see, after the lockdown, we are in a house for 1 year of vacation. It gave me time to improve myself. It gave me time to spend time with my family. It fulfilled the dream of my parents that I, instead of going for PC or laptop or gaming, I spend some time with them in the dining table, even after the dinner is finished. And that fulfilled their dream. That's why I like COVID-19. Also think about the Palestine or Yemen or Syria. When the COVID-19 started, there was a worldwide ceasefire. The war just stopped. Never in the history has there been a time when all the superpowers, when all the world leaders agreed that there would be no war. COVID-19 stopped the war. And that's why I like COVID-19. Not only that, think about our Mother Nature. She was always there being harmed by us, those plastics, those black fumes. Suddenly, when COVID-19 arrived, we all stopped. We stopped hurting our Mother Nature. We stopped giving away these black fumes. All of those industries, all of those people polluting were inside their house, and Mother Nature was outside, healing itself. The reason? COVID-19. And these are the things that no one's gonna talk about because no one likes COVID-19, but I do. And if you could speak about that one thing that COVID-19 did take away a lot of lives, did take away a lot of dreams, but it also did fulfill the dream of a Syrian boy, of a Palestinian woman, of my parents, or even the dream of Mother Nature, right? So if I would have given a speech, I would have given like in a way that no one's gonna think about because I love COVID-19. So that can be the starting of your speech to make your speech unique enough so that they would be like, what did you say? You liked it? So when they feel like it in the starting that I love COVID-19, then they would be asking from me, why do you like COVID-19? Then for the next 150 seconds, each and every single 6 seconds of time, they're going to listen to my speech because they have this curiosity. So when you're gonna start a speech, start with an introduction that makes your audience curious and give your content such a structure that makes that content worth sharing, an idea worth sharing, a dream worth sharing, and that makes your speech the best or even the great. I don't know how much my speech was, how much good my speech was, but if I would have gone for it, I would have gone for it in a way that no one's gonna speak about. Because everyone knows what are the symptoms. It has been 1 year we are living with COVID-19. It's more like even if we are single, we have COVID-19 with us. We don't have to worry about it. So we all know how COVID-19 works, how many lives it has taken. But we haven't thought from that perspective where COVID-19 has already fulfilled our dreams. So if we could go in that way, with a story that can captivate people, with a content that can encourage people, that can give people goosebumps, and an idea that can sow a seed of a new invention, of a new perspective, from which a whole garden of ideas, innovations, and inventions can be created. So I would suggest lastly, I would just go for three things. From my speech that I gave just right now, I wasn't able to speak about it though. About the structure of your speech, there is always five things about your structure. The introduction, an intriguing one, the explanation, what it means, why it means such for you, why your claim is meant to be heard. The third part is going to be arguments or even examples or the circumstances that I'm going to show that my perspective happens. It's real. And in the fourth part, I'm going to tell about, yeah, my perspective has a little bit of flaw that always COVID-19 is not good for us. But in the conclusion, in the fifth part, I will tell you, yeah, it might have that part. I mean, think of a glass half filled or full filled. We are going to optimistically telling that that glass is half filled, not half empty. So we can also think from this perspective that it took away half of our dream. We can also think from that perspective where it did fulfill half of ours, half of their dream. So when you can make this balance, this argument, counter argument, the examples for your claims or your message, the single message that Tamil News I told after every speech that you have to talk about one single thing. So when you can stand firm upon that message that you're sharing, that's when you're successful. You will receive a clap that you would remember for the rest of your life because you know you sowed the seed of your idea in 300 or 3,000 or millions of people that no one else could. That's when you are a public. Thank you. That would be my insight.
Thank you so much, Tasvin. It was really a great. I think we had a bit of connectivity issues. Tasvin, am I audible right now?
Yeah, now you're audible.
Thank you so much, Taskin. Your idea was really great, and you actually reminded me of a time, probably in last year, we had a competition, if you remember, and our topic was actually COVID-19 or lockdown, something similar. I don't remember the exact topic, but I remember being in a group with some other people, and the topic was something related, and we were all trying to make things as special as possible. And the same points, I like these were really great. When you actually make a speech out of the thing that you have said, this would sound really great. And your idea is really fantastic. Thank you so much. Although we have speakers who are just starting with public speaking, I think they could also get what you are trying to tell. So it was really a great one from you. So do we have some more questions today? I don't think that we have any more questions. Oh, talking about my first appearance on the stage, I was so nervous that I started to move the mic. You know the mic that we have in front of us, and someone from the audience actually counted that it was 22 or 24 times. I forgot. And at one point it came out. Like I was this much nervous, and people thought that I had an asthma attack. Wow. And actually, it was really horrific. And I decided that I would not stand on the stage again in my life. I would not try this thing, although I had to. And finally, things turned out to be well. So the thing is that, dear speakers, do not give up. Your today's session may not have been good. It might have been good. No, only you can feel it. But the thing is not giving up. We will have another session really soon, and I hope that we will find you again on there. And we are also looking forward to find new speakers, more people who are interested to speak in front of others and test how much good they are, how much they can improve, and things can be really, really helpful for everyone. It is good for us, it is good for you who's speaking, and it's also good for all those people who are listening to us. Because why not spread some good things in our society, right? So we had quite a long session. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. And Tasfin, you can go on with some words and bring a conclusion to our today's event. And thank you so much for being with me today.
For conclusion, I would say those who are thinking that these are speakers, they got the chance to speak and they could build themselves up. Well, to be very honest, it took me 3 years to be a speaker, from class 7 to class 10, plus 9 last December, class 9 December. So I kept practicing for 3 years. I was never a speaker, like, but I ended up being. So there would be ups and downs in your life, in your speaking career, but the thing that matters that you never give up. Because when you never give up, you might win and you might lose, but you're never gonna be defeated. So you will win today or you will win tomorrow. The stage is yours. Best of luck. With this, we'd like to conclude the session. Thank you.
Thanks for the inspiring words, Tasfin. Again, it was really great to be in a session with you. So, guys, We hope to find you again with us. Do share our sessions with others and keep practicing. It takes years to be a good speaker. It takes years. It's not a matter of one day. And I personally believe that every one of you can be a good speaker and even better than we both today speaking in front of you. With the hope of all of our betterment, today we are ending. Thank you so much for being with us today.